Let's take a quick moment on this Saturday and be reminded that while it's cute and fun to poke and laugh and write memes over the spat between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, it actually is quite serious business. We are talking about two of the world's most powerful men in this breaking story. And what we have to understand, and while there's hype and there's conjecture and there's media, there's also the truth behind what these two are doing, what they have been doing, and who they have been. This just isn't boys will be boys. And this isn't a couple of frat guys that got into a fight because one of them had too much to drink and started spouting off about an ex-girlfriend. These are two human beings that could drastically affect the quality or even the existence of our lives going forward if this escalates some direction that becomes absurd. So while in this breaking story, I don't like getting this particularly serious about something, this is serious. And the truth of what actually happened, the truth of what has gone on since November 5th, 2024, and even before that with Elon Musk and Donald Trump and where they are today, has to genuinely be addressed. And I'm going to show you that story in just a few seconds. It is truly important. While you chill on some coffee or put your feet up on a Saturday, make sure you listen to what this story is about. And I'll get there in just a second. Let's be reminded a little bit of exactly how we got here and where we are. Take a quick listen to this.
Very special that I give to very special people. When I thought I'd give it to Elon as a presentation from our country.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elon.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you. But the Doge team will only grow stronger over time. The Doge influence will only grow stronger. It's I'd liken it to sort of Buddhism. It's like a way of life. So it is permeating throughout the government. And I'm confident that over time we'll see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction.
Look, there's been reporting out there that the White House is working to put together a call between Elon Musk and Donald Trump to broker some kind of peace.
That's it, really. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Right.
Great job.
I asked Donald Trump about that. He said he's not particularly interested in talking to Elon Musk. He said Elon wants to talk to him. He's not ready to talk to Musk, who he called a man who has lost his mind.
Can you imagine what's going on inside the walls of the White House and the Oval Office? Putting on a show like that everything's great and I'll give you a key and thanks for everything you've done and I hope to be back and we'll save $1 trillion, all that BS. And the truth of the matter is, no. These guys, as we've seen from Donald Trump, his whole life, before his first term as president, in between term 1 and 2, and what we've seen in the first 180 days, oh no. Donald Trump is on record as saying he loves to get even with those who betray him. And that is where we are when you hear the truth and the details of what's been going on. Here is the story.
Inside the battles that shattered Trump and Musk's alliance. Trump called Musk a big-time drug addict in a phone call shortly after their public feud. President Donald Trump was dejected, processing his very public split with the world's richest man. Rattled in the wake of Elon Musk's public attacks and apparent call for his impeachment, Trump worked the phones, debriefing close confidants and casual acquaintances alike. His former ally was a big-time drug addict, Trump said at one point, as he tried to make sense of Musk's behavior. Musk has acknowledged using ketamine, a powerful anesthetic, which he says was prescribed for him to treat depression. The New York Times recently reported that he was using so much ketamine on the campaign trail that he told people it was affecting his bladder, and he traveled with a pillbox with medication with the marking of Adderall. But although the break between Musk and Trump only exploded into public view on Thursday, cracks in the alliance began to appear much earlier. Musk's bravado complicated the White House's ambitions to remake American society. The billionaire alienated key members of the White House staff, including Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and quarreled with cabinet members, physically coming to blows with one. President Trump and the entire administration will continue the important mission of cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from our federal government on behalf of taxpayers, and the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill is critical to helping accomplish that mission, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement. I feel like the kids of a bitter divorce, where you're just saying, I really wish mommy and daddy would stop screaming. Senator Ted Cruz, R. Texas, said on his podcast Friday. Musk arrived in Washington in January as Trump's most powerful ally, spending nights in the Lincoln bedroom while serving as a top White House advisor. The first signs of trouble emerged in February when an email landed in inboxes throughout the government directing federal employees to describe their 5 accomplishments over the past week. Despite the tension, Trump and his deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, stuck by Musk's side. But Wiles grew increasingly agitated about clashes between Musk's U.S. DOGE service and other administration leaders. As Musk and his DOGE team attempted to slash federal grants, dismiss federal bureaucrats, and shutter the USAID, he became a line of attack for Trump's political opponents. At demonstrations across the country, signs that read "No one voted for Elon Musk" began to appear among protesters as they took to the streets. There's a real recognition in the White House and on the Hill that the Elon brand has a real political problem. On April 2nd, when the president rolled out tariffs intended to remake the global economy, Musk took to X to express his displeasure with the levies and called Trump's trade advisor and longtime ally Peter Navarro a moron. Not long after, Musk's tension with Trump's trade team devolved into blows in an altercation with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, said Stephen K. Bannon, the influential right-wing podcaster and longtime political advisor to Donald Trump. After Bessent and Musk exited the Oval Office and began walking down the hallway, the two men started to exchange insults, Bannon said, adding that Bessent brought up Musk's claims that he would uncover more than $1 trillion in wasteful and fraudulent government spending, which Musk had not succeeded at doing. Scott said, "You're a fraud. You're a total fraud," Bannon said in an interview. Musk then rammed his shoulder into Bessent's ribcage, like a rugby player, Bannon said, and Bessent hit him back. Multiple people stepped in to break up the scrum as the two men reached the National Security Advisor's office, and Musk was shuffled out of the West Wing. President Trump heard about it and said, "This is too much," Bannon said. Despite the mounting tensions, Musk and Trump presented a united front that day during a formal send-off for Musk in the Oval Office, where Trump presented him with a ceremonial key and praised him as one of the greatest business leaders and innovators the world has ever produced. In the hours after the blow-up, some in Trump's orbit believed a quick reconciliation was possible, gathering from their own interactions with the president and conversations with each other that he was open to a détente with Musk. But by morning, those prospects had receded. Trump on Friday insisted that he had no interest in speaking with Musk. Musk continued to fan the flames, doubling down on his unsubstantiated claim that Trump was implicated in documents related to the convicted sex trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. "There's hope that there's going to be a reconciliation," said one White House ally close to both Trump and Musk worlds, "but it'll never be the same."
Can you imagine what in the world all the people who voted for Donald Trump again would have said if they heard about fisticuffs happening in Obama's administration? If Obama had had some dude come in and just rail through the government? If Obama had played tariff games and screwed with the stock market and had a guy that's on severe drugs around him all the time, along with all of the issues Donald Trump himself has? This isn't fun and games. We don't know. This is a man who controls the nuclear codes, having a public fight with someone who gave him nearly $300 million to make sure he got elected. This isn't funny, and unfortunately, it's not going to end. We have no idea what the future holds when it comes to these two people and those who may slowly separate from each one in their own way and defend the other one in their own way. And this is why I always say, stay frosty.